Graduates from Taylor, Texas have been soaring to great heights for a very long time. And students today are already making their mark in the world long before graduation. Taylor is full of history, tradition, and an amazing community that supports its future leaders. With all the programs and opportunities available to students today, graduates from Taylor, Texas are soaring higher now than ever before. Our special guest today is Irene Michna, 1962 graduate of Taylor High School and a proud Taylor Duck. Irene is a dedicated community volunteer, giving so much of herself in service to others. In this episode of Taking Flight, Irene talks about growing up in Taylor, Texas, and the many reasons that she is proud to call Taylor home. Welcome to this special edition of Taking Flight. Our guest today is Duck Hall of Fame member, community volunteer, and proud Taylor Duck, Irene Michna. Irene, thank you so much for being here today and welcome.
Thank you so much, Tim, for asking me to be here. It's a real honor to be here with y'all today.
You know, I can't think of anyone who is a prouder Taylor Duck than Irene Michna. It's very obvious that the green and white fly high in your heart. Yes. And we all know, once a duck, always a duck. Yes. So could you tell us in your own words why it is so important to you to be a Taylor Duck?
Well, Tim, it was instilled in me as a child that, like I told you, my mother graduated from Taylor High. And it's just something to be so proud of, and people would make fun of the ducks. How can you be afraid of a duck? Well, they've never really been around some of these ducks because they can be fierce. But it's the most proud mascot I could ever have wished for. And I am just, it's just been a great years in school. My classmates were all just like I am. We were proud to be a Taylor Duck.
And it's amazing how many people away from Taylor have heard of the Taylor Ducks.
Yes.
We're pretty famous.
Yes, we are famous. We sure are. Along with the Oregon Ducks.
Well, that's true. Yeah. That's true. But Taylor Ducks are unique and
more
special.
Important. You
that's
bet
right.
They are.
Absolutely. And I want to talk more about high school in just a moment. Okay. But tell us a little bit about your attendance at school in the lower grades. Where did you go to school in the lower grades?
I attended 12th Street School. We lived on Brown Street, and I was 2 houses away from the school. And it was great going to that school. And the other night I remembered something that I want to make sure I share with you. In the 6th grade, we had this blackbird that would come to the class. And of course, we didn't have air conditioning in those days.
That's right.
So the windows were all wide open. And this blackbird would come in. It was Miss Sackwich's class. And he would steal our pens and pencils off of our desk. And then he'd fly out the window. And we knew he was going to come back. And so we always had him something to get from us anyway, because we loved having him come visit us.
I bet it was a treat every time he would come visit.
Yes, yes.
Did you ever find where he was taking those things?
No, we never found that. Never found any of our pens or anything. We sure didn't.
And the teacher didn't mind?
No. Miss Sack he became kind of a tradition at the school. And but it was such a relaxed atmosphere then, and we had so much fun. And I want you to know that today I'm still friends with several of my first grade classmates.
Oh, long-time friendships.
Yes.
What grades were at 12th Street School then?
1st through the 6th.
1st through the 6th. When I was there, it was 3rd and 4th.
Oh, okay,
yes.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have as many kids as you have then.
The population grew.
That's right. It sure did.
And yeah. Irene, you're part of the class of 1962.
Yes.
And your high school is the campus on 7th Street.
That's correct.
Can you share some of your memories of high school with us?
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to make sure that you know that our class was one of the first classes to attend junior high school.
Oh, is that
right? The new building where the band hall is,
yes.
Or was. We were one of the first classes to attend there.
Was that the annex?
The annex.
The annex, okay.
But it was called junior high.
Junior high.
Yes. And then, of course, we went over to the high. That was the 6th and the 7th grade. And then the 8th through the 12th was at the old high school on 7th Street. Of course, there still was no air conditioning. I read an article the other day that some fans were put in, like 92 fans were put in the building so that we could be a little cooler. But we love the auditorium and the gym. And we're so proud of what Mr. Oley is doing now to bring that back.
Yes, preserve that history.
Oh, yes.
The gym is looking amazing.
Isn't it? It's just so nice. Yeah, it sure is.
Now, the auditorium, did you graduate in that auditorium?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right.
Yes, sure did. Yeah. And we had plenty of plays there, and anytime anything happened, that's where it would be there, you know. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, even the principals and everybody, it was just it was a good place to be. Mm-hmm. It really was. And we had lockers in those days, too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
We did. We sure did. Yeah. So, yeah, it was great.
Were you involved in any extracurricular type activities?
Yes, sir. I was in the band for 4 years.
What'd you play?
I played the drums.
The drums?
Yes. Under Mr. Whitlow.
Oh, I remember Mr. Whitlow.
Yes. And then I played volleyball and softball. And that was it.
All right.
I didn't play basketball.
And that probably kept you busy.
Oh, yes. Well, band kept us quite busy. Mr. Whitlow was he was such an artist of putting on shows on football nights. He had us precision marching. It was, we would get up in the morning so early and go out there and practice with dew on the ground, and we're sopping wet by the time we get through. But it was a lot of fun.
But by the time the Friday night game arrived,
it was perfect.
It was perfect.
Yes, it was, yes.
What was your senior year like?
A lot of fun, a lot of us talking about what are we going to do next. And I don't know, we were a fun class. We didn't get in trouble. We weren't the kind that were always in trouble. Mm-hmm. And we genuinely had a lot of respect for each other, as we still do today. Mm-hmm. And anytime anybody was anywhere, we'd all congregate together. And we had a Dairy Queen and a Dairy Maid in those days, so we'd always figure out where we were all going to meet. And I have no regrets of any of my school years. I have nothing but happy thoughts.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
You mentioned Mr. Whitlow.
Yes.
Are there other teachers that stand out in your memory of your high school days?
Yes, Miss Manor. Can't forget Miss Manor. Can't forget her.
Everybody remembers Miss Manor.
That's right. There was a young man that came to Taylor and taught for a few years, and his name was Mr. Oh my gosh, his father was county commissioner, Slickeisen, Mr. Slickeisen. Mm-hmm. And he came to Taylor just out of college. And he was teaching us history. Well, I had not studied the night before. And the question was, tell us about the Battle of, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I forgot now. New Orleans, the Battle of New Orleans. Well, the song, the Battle of New Orleans, was very popular at that time. So I stood in front of the class and repeated the whole song to the class because I had no idea what was in that book.
Did he give you credit?
He did. He said, anybody with nerve enough to do that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that was a fun time. It sure was.
You mentioned it being such a wonderful experience in high school and that you still carry a lot of those memories with you. How do you think your high school experience prepared you for your future?
There were times when we would get serious and think about what we were going to do, and we had several in our class that knew what they wanted to do. They were gung-ho on getting their education and doing things. I was offered that opportunity, but chose not to go off to college. And I'm not saying that I regret it. I wish now at my age now, I wish I could have learned how to be a person that investigates things and finds out all about the history and become a little bit more involved in that. And I could have learned a lot if I'd have just gone to school, but you know how it is when you're young.
Well, you've done a lot of that anyway.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
You have been very active for a long time in the Old Settlers Association.
Yes.
And for our viewers who may not be familiar with Old Settlers, could you tell us a little bit about that association?
Sure, be glad to. The organization was formed in 1904 by ex-Confederate soldiers. And it was first in Georgetown, and then we were given land in Round Rock where we put our cabins, and now we have a nice facility there for weddings and things like that, all kinds of entertainment. And we have the log cabins were all moved also. But what we're trying to do, or what we continue to do, is to perpetuate the history of Williamson County. And it's, I consider it quite an honor to be a member and now president of the organization. And it goes back to my grandfather was one of the founders, Mr. Kirkendall. Dad became president in the later years, and I have instilled this in all of my children. They're all now directors of the organization. And we do have programs every year where we try to bring out the fiddle playing and things like that, the older stuff. And I think we're gaining in some of our popularity again because people are starting to pick up that fiddle again and play. And
it's in a good location.
It's a perfect location,
Yes.
right next to Dale Diamond. You can't
Yes.
get a better place. That's
right.
right. Yes. But anyway, it's a real joy and an honor to be a member of this organization.
And you became president in 1978.
Yes.
Now, that's when it was over off of I-35?
No. I didn't become president then. I was executive vice president. I'm sorry to correct you there. I became president. My father passed away, and then J.E. Moore became president for a short period of time, and I took over from J.E.
I see.
And that was in, I think it was 89 or 90. When that
But
happened.
you were part of the move to the new
Oh,
location.
yes.
So what was that like? Were you sad to see the
Oh
old
my
place
gosh,
go?
yes, we're still sad. we miss it. It was just such a, in those days when I was young, there were thousands and thousands of people that would show up for the event. And it just, now I can tell you this, that I have been there, never missed a year since 1944 when I was born. We stayed in tents at the very beginning. Then we had a log cabin, and then a house, and a little house thing. And then we had our travel trailers, as we're still staying in our travel trailers today. And so it's, my children, when they talk about the old times at the old cellars, their faces light up because it was so much fun.
Good times.
Yes. So family, it was all family and friends, good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's fantastic.
yes.
Wonderful memories.
It's such a wonderful memory.
And you're
yes,
still
yeah.
currently the president.
Yes, I am. I sure am, Tim.
And the whole
Yes.
family's involved.
The whole family's involved, including the little girl over there doing the filming.
All right, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, Irene, you have given so much of yourself in community service. You have probably served on every committee that could possibly be served on. And you've worked really hard to make a lot of improvements in a lot of area and to do a lot of good.
Thank you, Tim.
And it's been said that when it comes to getting things done, you have two speeds.
Yes, I know.
Full speed ahead and faster.
That's it.
And I think that just shows your passion and your dedication to what you do.
I love this town.
I can tell.
Yes.
I can
yes.
tell.
I love this town. I sure do. And the people here.
They're wonderful.
Yes.
Yes. You've been involved in so many different projects and so many different committees and such. I'm going to mention just a few of those, and I'd like for you to share like a favorite memory from your time working on those projects.
Sure.
One of them is the Tex Avery Day.
That was so good.
Tell us about that.
Yes. Red Humphreys and I co-chaired that. And I have never been so proud of a project that he and I worked on, to have the cartoons being played at our theater downtown with the huge cake and all the people that showed up. And I got the big thrill of watching the ladies leave the theater and all of the adult men sticking around. They were going to watch those cartoons the whole afternoon, and they did. And it was just, oh, it was so much fun, and so proud to have him as one of our people.
That's right. Born
Yes,
here in Taylor,
that's right.
Texas.
Yes.
What about the Main Street Board?
Now, that's a good story.
Tell
Because
us.
when I retired from the appraisal district, my friend Jean
Yes.
Hughes Johnson,
Uh-huh.
she became the Main Street director.
That's right.
So the first thing she did was recruit me.
Of course.
Yes, and she and I worked, so hard together, and it was so easy to work with, and we had such a good time. But we got so many good projects done. She's quite a leader, she really is. And without Jean, I probably would never have gotten so involved if it hadn't been for her pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, then she also encouraged me to write the book about Taylor. And so that was something I had never done, and I had so much fun doing that. And like I said, researching. And Karen Ellis at the library helped me so much with the pictures and things. And it was just I was so proud of that book. I
Very
really was.
enriching experience.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It sure was.
What about the Williamson County Museum?
That was a great time too. Yes. The people over there are trying to preserve our history there. They're working so hard at it, and now they've brought another building there in Round Rock, which is such a nice building. And I love to watch them. Every year we have Pioneer Days out at the old cellars, and they put on quite a show for the young people. It's nothing but for the children, and busloads of children come to watch this. And so they are really doing their part for Williamson County to keep everybody educated on our history. They sure
That's
are.
important.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's very important. Yes. All of my grandchildren I'm proud of, but my granddaughter that's going to Sam Houston State right now, she is majoring in history.
Really?
And she would like to be a museum curator.
Oh,
and
that's
I
wonderful.
am so proud.
You must be. Yeah,
Yes.
that's wonderful.
Yes, I am so proud.
You must have a lot of good conversations
Oh, we
together.
do. We have so much fun. I just called her the other night to see what was new.
That's good.
Nothing, Mimi. School just started.
Well, I'm sure she will have a lot to share this
Yes,
year.
she will. She will.
What about the Taylor Conservation and Heritage Society?
That is a very good organization, too. Francis Sorrell is our president, and we have so many people on that board that work so very, very hard. And Brent Rydell has brought in the tour of the ghost tour that has
Yes.
just excited so
Oh, that's a
many people.
sellout all the time.
Yes,
isn't it, every year.
I can't believe it. I'm not big on ghosts, but they are doing an awesome job on that. They really, really are. And the museum is the society is working hard on keeping everybody up to date on some of the history things. They've talked to me about some more writings, and it's something for our town to be very proud of too. Sure is.
Yeah, that's good. What about the barbecue cook-off?
Love that too. Not much I don't love, is there?
There's a lot to love. That's a good thing.
The barbecue cook-off, started many, many years ago, and it just kind of became Taylor's very own international barbecue cook-off. And people came from other countries, especially all over the state of United States. But we had people from other countries that came over here and borrowed barbecue pits to cook at this event. And it was, I don't know, it was just something that, it just brought in people from everywhere. And then it kind of started falling apart. And thank goodness for the city of Taylor, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Taylor Press for all pulling together and asking Ronnie and I to help them get this going again. And it was quite an honor for he and I to do this. And so we're real proud. It's starting to grow. It's going to take some time, but it is starting to grow, and we're extremely proud of it.
It has a rich history.
Yes. It does.
What about the 125th birthday of Taylor?
That was my first volunteer event.
Was it?
Yes. Elected secretary of that event. Oh boy, was I blown away that day. But anyway, the committee had so many good people on it, like Fred Switzer and Ella Jazz, and there were just so many good people on there that worked so hard on this. And then we had all of the trees planted out at the cemetery, and that was just it was very special. And then we served ice cream and cake on the Heritage Square, I call it now. Yeah.
It was a true birthday party.
It was a true birthday party, yes.
That's
yes.
great. What about the downtown master plan?
I'm excited also about the splash pad, of course, but then also about our skate park. I want to see that. I have driven downtown in the past and watched all these young people on the streets and in the banking parking lots. They want this park. I didn't realize how bad they wanted it. They want this skate park so bad, and I think we need to give it to them.
Right.
I really do.
Right.
And our master plan is coming together, and I think we're going to be very, very proud of it when it's finished.
It'll be another thing to be proud of.
That's right. That's right.
You're also an ambassador for the Chamber of Commerce, isn't that right?
Well, I was. I haven't been active in anything right now, and I'm sure the people out there all know, but I do have lung cancer, and so we're going through things a little slowly right now. And I haven't made a lot of the meetings that I should be making, but everybody's been so very kind to let me slide for a while here. So
well, you have to take it at the right pace.
that's it.
Yes.
That's it. So Yes, I want to get back into doing that also because I enjoy that. I enjoy our chamber right now. I think we've got some good leadership there. And I'm enjoying working with those people down there. I really am.
Yeah, it's a good group.
Yes, it is.
It's
yes,
a good
it
group.
is.
And of course, everybody certainly is behind you and wishing you well.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And it's great to see you here today.
Well, I'm so proud you asked me to come. I sure am.
It's a pleasure. One more thing, you're also very active in the First Baptist Church, is that right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was put in the cradle roll in 1944 at First Baptist on 7th Street. My mother and dad, everybody belonged to First Baptist in my family. And I worked diligently to help get the money together for building our new church out on Mallard Lane. There's a piece of me that still would like to have the old church on 7th Street, on Davis Street. But I'm very proud of the new church. It's catering a lot to the younger people, which we need to be doing. And it's big. It's enough room for everybody to be there. And on Sunday mornings, we fill up that church. We really do.
And it's a large building.
It's a large building, and we're just very, very proud of it. And Matt Hudson was he was our preacher, of course, and he was a leader in doing this. And Matt did an awesome job on keeping us on track. And so now it's going to be turned over to someone else, and we'll wait and see who that is. But I'm very proud of First Baptist Church Taylor. I sure am.
All right. Tell us about the experience of being named Woman of the Year.
I don't know if you ever saw in those. I don't know if you ever saw in those pictures. I would look like an idiot. I was so shocked.
Total surprise.
Really, oh my gosh! Yes, never expected that. Never. So very, very proud. Extremely proud.
That's a great honor.
Oh, I was just beyond honored. And then when Mr. Carter then presented me with the Congressional Award, that was just. I haven't had such a night, except one afternoon when I was inducted into the Duck Hall of Fame, which was just as proud.
Those are 3 really high honors.
Oh, I do know that, and I am so thankful and I'm so blessed. Oh.
And so deserving of it.
Well, thank you,
so
Tim.
deserving.
Thank you,
and I
darling.
was there when you were inducted into the Duck Hall of Fame.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, I was there with my camera. And I got a few
okay.
pictures of
Yes.
that. Yeah, and of course that's a nomination from your class.
Yes.
Which makes it even more special.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And so many of them showed up for that too. I was so proud. I thought they had come for something else. I didn't realize why they were there, but I was happy.
It was a great day.
Yes, it was.
A great day. Great day to be a duck.
We drove around up and down Main and Second after it was over with, because that's what we used to do all the time. Main, Second, Main, Second. So a bunch of us got together in my Tahoe and rode around. That's it.
Now, it's been said by your class members that you are the glue that holds their class together. So have you remained close all through the years?
Oh, yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that.
And when they say I'm the glue, the only thing I'm doing that tries to keep us together is I try to stay in touch with them. And when something happens and we have someone that's ill or we have someone that's gotten a great honor, then I send out a message to all of the classmates to let them know what's going on. When something happens in Taylor, Texas, their home and their school, I send a message out and telling them what's going on. And when we need prayers, that's the best prayer. Those duck prayers, they work they really do work.
Powerful.
Yes, they are very powerful. And that's what I do. I just try to keep them all up to date on what's going on.
And that says a lot about that group to have
it
stayed so close all through the years.
And we're getting together this weekend for the first home game
at the new stadium.
At the new stadium.
Yeah.
Buzzy Herman, who was also inducted in the Duck Hall of Fame, he was a neurosurgeon at the Mayo Clinic. He is moving back to Minnesota. So we're going to be having a get-together all weekend, saying goodbye, because he won't be coming back that much, I'm sure, now, after he moves. And so all of us got together. We call us our traveling crew. And we all are getting together at Sue and Kelly Marks.
Yes.
And we're going to party.
You'll have a good time.
We'll have a good time.
And the shirts, don't you have a shirt?
Yes, I do. Dean down at Taylor Sporting Goods made it for me today, or they just brought it to me. And on the front it says, Duck 1962, class of 1962. But on the back it says, green and white shall ever fly.
That's perfect.
That's it.
That's absolutely perfect.
Yes.
You'll
Yes.
need to get pictures of that.
Oh, I want you to. Yeah, you're going to come visit us, I think, tomorrow night, aren't you?
I'm got it on my schedule.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So look forward to that. That'll be a great
that'll be
event.
great to see you again. Yes.
You mentioned a book that you had worked on. Haven't there been a couple of books that you have
Yes,
done?
sir.
Could you tell us a little bit about those?
The first book, of course, was about the Taylor, and it was encouraged by the Taylor Main Street Board. And then I did one about the old settlers, that people can learn more about the old settlers. And then I wrote one about the family. And we have all the different families on both sides, and we've got the history of where they all came from, and I've traced them back to New York in the 1600s. And it's just, I had so much fun working on that too, saying, oh my goodness. Then at one time I thought I was kin to somebody that I'm not kin to, but I thought I was, and I was so excited for a while there.
Find out all kinds of
Yes,
things.
I found out I wasn't.
Well, that must have been a rewarding project, both of those.
They both were, yes, yes. Someone called me just a while ago, in fact it was Brent Humphreys, and he needed a date on something for my family, because my grandfather led the last trail drive to leave Williamson County to go up north, and Brent needed a date, so I had to pull out my book and look up that date real fast so I could give it to him.
But you had it.
I had it, yes sir, I did.
Tell us about your family.
That's another great thing. I have 3 boys, Buddy, Ronnie, and Randy, and then Shanna, and I have 4 great in-laws. I have 8 wonderful grandchildren, 6 girls and 2 boys. And I have one that has graduated from Mary Hardin Baylor, and she now works for Dell Computer. The one at Sam Houston, then I have one at Bland, and then I have 2 seniors out at high school, Sarah and Liberty, and then Braden and Riley Rose, and Chance. He's 8 years old, and they are my joy, of course. And I want to say one thing real fast. My family has supported me so much through everything that I've done. Everything. And sometimes they say, Mom, you need to slow down a little, But they have supported me. And when I got sick like this, they rallied around me. In fact, my daughter and son-in-law, Clayton, they actually moved in with me to make sure I was taken care of.
That's wonderful.
And then my granddaughters were the ones that, when they got out of school in May, they're the ones that drove me to my radiation and chemotherapy. So I am so blessed, but not just my family, my friends, my home, my town. I'm a very
strong support system.
Oh, golly, yes. I'm so blessed.
And there's a whole lot of love, Irene.
Yeah, there's a lot of love on this side, too.
This
yes.
town is behind you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sweetheart. I sure do.
Well, Irene, we've talked a lot about Taylor and what a wonderful place this is. You grew up here. You graduated from school here. You've been here your whole life. And this is where you've dedicated your time and your efforts. So I want to ask you the question, why Taylor? What is there so special about this town? What makes this town so special?
Well, I tell you, I can't really give you an answer because I've never been anywhere else.
Well, there wasn't a need to.
No, there wasn't. I had
Everything
the best.
you had needed
right
was
here.
right here.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, I've never. My husband was from here also, and there was never any need for us to go anywhere else. And of course, he died in '92, and but no, this is just this is home, and that's just. I plan on dying here. In fact, my tombstone's already out there, darling. It's ready.
Does it have a duck on it?
No, we're not through with it yet.
But I think you summed it up perfectly when you said it's home.
Yes, it is home.
It is home.
Yeah, I'm so proud. So proud of being here.
Irene, it has been so much fun visiting with you today. And I've got one last question.
Yes, sir.
What is your secret for success? What is one piece of advice that you would like to share with others?
I don't know. Just be true to yourself for one thing, and then get involved with your city and your town. It's so very important. People will sit back and just say, oh, you should do this or you should do that. They should do it. We need more volunteers, and we need people there's so many people out there that love our town just like me. I'm not the only person out there. They just need to step forward, and I'm encouraging my children to do the same. My son Ronnie stays very involved, and I'm encouraging every one of them to just get as involved as you can because it is rewarding.
Very much so.
Yes.
It helps the town, but you also gain a lot in return.
Oh, yeah, I'm so proud sometimes of things that happen, and it'll come to light, and I just, sit around the house and cry. I'm so excited. But that's pretty well what it would be, darling.
That says a lot.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you asking me. I sure do.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Taking Flight. We'll see you next time.